We see the new reporting from Reuters, sources telling them that the U.S. is poised now to launch a new phase of Venezuela-related operations in the coming days. What does that mean? What does a new phase likely look like?
So I think a new phase has a lot to do with what you mentioned earlier, is the designation of that group as a terrorist group. If that is the case, then they are looking back at an AUMF, an authorization for military force from 2001 in relation to obviously September 11th. And that essentially means that Trump would not have to necessarily get the approval from Congress immediately to go into Venezuela. So what I do think they are potentially gearing up for at this point is some kind of a ground invasion.
Wow. I mean, if this Venezuelan gang is designated a terror organization, does that mean that Nicolas Maduro is a terrorist? And what would that designation, how does that change things?
So, yes, I think Rubio and Trump have actually both said that they believe that he is the head of this cartel. And so, essentially, what that is doing is saying the entirety of the government, right, is a member of this terror organization. I want to be clear, we actually didn't even do that with Saddam Hussein in Iraq. We stated that Saddam Hussein was supporting terror networks, but we didn't call his government a terror network. So, that is very different here than what we have seen in the past. I also think, too, there are rumblings about, Maduro talking about and the government talking about their connections to Hezbollah and Iran as well. And Iran has come in and recently told the U.S. to basically back off. So you've got a couple people at play here.
Help us understand sort of a lay of the land and some context around this, because I think a lot of Americans are scratching their head and saying, why now? Why are we doing this? Why is Trump doing this? Why Nicolas Maduro in particular? There are a lot of countries involved in the drug trade. There are a lot of countries who are bad actors out there. Why this country? Why now?
So I think it's bigger than just the drug trade. Obviously, the drug trade is not a minor problem. It is a major problem here in the U.S. and worldwide as well. But I do think there's other nations at play and geopolitics at play. So I mentioned Iran earlier. Maduro is very close with Iran. They are allies. They are both members of OPEC together, and Russia as well. So right now, Trump is really not getting along, quite frankly, with Putin. Putin's not doing what Trump wants. And I do think some of this putting pressure on Maduro and basically felling Maduro, if you will, is sending a message, quite frankly, to Russia and to Iran, hey, you could be next. And I think that's why this is happening now.
All right. Really appreciate the context and the analysis. Tracy Walder, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.